How do you confront someone's actions in a way that actually gets your point across and potentially helps you win an argument when you feel that a boundary has been crossed or you have been disrespected in some way? Woo! This is tricky, and I can't wait to go over it with you today because it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. Usually, when someone has done something that has upset you or that feels like they have potentially crossed a line in one way or the other, it's not simply that there's a disagreement, but that there seems to have been a level of disrespect that has come along with it. A lot of times, the conversation can get really hung up on someone's feelings. So, whether someone felt frustrated, felt embarrassed, felt mad about something, and the whole conversation becomes about that person's feelings. And basically, what that person is doing is justifying their actions because of their feelings. And when you are having this conversation, you can get derailed a lot of the time by getting overly hung up in the other person's feelings and being caught in that conversation about the fact that they were mad or embarrassed or frustrated or jealous or whatever it was. But their feelings aren't the point of what made you so upset or what felt wrong about a previous encounter you had with them, whether it was a blow up or just a conversation, or maybe it was a reaction where they took something that happened and went to someone else and now it's come back to you. And you're over here going, hang on, that's not even what happened. Now all these other people are involved. It's become very dramatic. Whoa. And you're trying to figure out, how do I deal with this? So what you need to do that's going to help give you the best result here is continuously come back to the actions that were not the best choice or that were not appropriate. I'm going to give two examples here, one with a grown-up and one with my children, because this actually came up this last week with my kiddos and a video game. So, first example would be something happens between the two of us and you decide to go and vent to a third party about a misunderstanding. You felt that I'd said something wrong or I'd embarrassed you or something happened. And instead of talking to me about it, you go and talk to my mom about it or sister or your best friend or somebody else. And then that person comes back to me and says, I can't believe you did this or said this. You know, that was so wrong of you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm over here going, that isn't even what happened. What in the world? How did this get so out of control? So then maybe I'm coming back to you and I'm going, hey, this happened the other day. And then, now I'm hearing from so-and-so that all this other stuff happened. And I really wish that you had come to talk to me about it. Their actions. I wish you had come to talk to me about it so that we could have sorted this out between the two of us, because now there's all these other people involved and I feel like everything has just really gotten out of hand and the truth has just kind of gone everywhere about what happened in this situation. And now it's kind of turned into this big mess. I really wish that you had come to me first so we could have figured this out together. Most of the time, that person is going to respond by getting really upset and lashing out at you. They've been called out, which nobody likes to be called out. It is setting off their fight or flight response because they feel that they've done something wrong and they're kind of being attacked for it, and it makes them want to justify themselves and lash back out and kind of get on the offense to point out what you did wrong that caused them to do whatever it was. And so they might say, well, you really hurt my feelings, or you really made me mad, or you really upset me when you did this or that. The easy thing to do, what most people will do, is get caught up in that trap. Well, you really hurt my feelings. Well, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. Well, you did hurt my feelings because blah, blah, blah. Or you really made me mad when you did da, da, da. Well, I didn't know that I was making you mad. I thought I was doing this. Or, them saying, but I was just so mad I had to go talk to somebody else about it. And now we're kind of harping on this conversation about this person's feelings when their feelings are not the problem. It's, people get angry and jealous and upset, and, it's natural to have a wide spectrum of emotions as a human. The emotions aren't the problem. It was the actions that were the problem. So the response needs to be something along the lines of, if something that I did made you really upset, I'm sorry, and I want us to be able to talk about it. But where I'm feeling frustrated is that instead of coming to me so that we could sort it out between us, because this should have been something that only concerned the two of us, that now all these other people have been brought into the situation who weren't there when it happened. And now it's become really messy when it didn't have to be. So what I'm pointing out is, instead of coming to me, you went to someone else. That's the action that I'm having a problem with. And the reason that I'm having a problem with it is because now all these extra people are involved. It's become really messy. It's more complicated to fix now, because instead of it just being between you and me, now it's between you and me and these three other people that have somehow become wrapped up in this situation. So when the person says, well, I was just so mad, I understand that you were mad. And my intention was not for you to be mad, but I need for you to come to me when things like this happen, instead of going to a third party. This was not that person's business. And what happened between the two of us, it seems like there was a really big misunderstanding here, because from my perspective, that's not what happened. And I want us to be able to talk about what really did happen, and I want us to get through that, and I want us to have that conversation. But I really need you to understand that I am very frustrated myself that you chose to go and talk to someone else about it instead of coming straight to me. And I really would encourage you to kind of harp on that until you get the point across. I want to talk about whatever it is that upset you, but I need for you to understand that I am not happy that your actions were to do this, because it's created this whole other problem that didn't have to be there. And I will, when this comes up for me, I will really sit on that I need for them to understand that that was the problem, that they chose to go to a third person instead of coming directly to me. And then we can talk about what actually happened and get through it and get to the other side of it. And then at the end of it, I may gently, not in a nagging, not in a twisting a knife in a wound sort of way, in a respectful and gentle, but kind of putting a lid on it sort of a way, remind them, I'm so glad that we were able to get through this together. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to upset you. I really hate that this misunderstanding happened. Next time, will you please just come to me about it? Because now we've got to go explain to all these other people what actually happened, and now it's gotten really messy. Can you come to me next time first? Because I don't want us to have a bad relationship. I want us to be able to work through things, but I need for you to come to me first. And really kind of put that boundary there, that you are going to call them out for kind of creating this inappropriate action by spreading rumors. Now, if you use that phrase, you were spreading rumors, you might as well light a firework in the middle of the room. That's not going to be well received. But that is what they did. But I would highly encourage you to avoid using that phrase, that you were spreading rumors or you were being dramatic or you were creating drama. Any of those are very incendiary phrases. They're going to create a lot of frustration and upset, and they're going to make that person feel so defensive about what they did that they're not going to be open to having a conversation with you. So this was part 1, where we talk about maybe a grown up. We're going to wrap up for this week because I want to keep this video short and sweet. And in part 2 for next week, I want to go over a scenario that came up with my kiddos. One, to give you a different perspective, but also, two, for any parents out there who are needing to have similar conversations with their kids in order to set their kids up for success with the same concept. So hang tight, and I will see you next week in part 2. Take care.